I'd love to know what you think of this. It sounds like you think it's a better deal for Viacom shareholders than those who own CBS.
Well, I think that's fair, but I got to ask you guys a question. Am I the only one who doesn't get a consumer brand media merger being put together with any number of consumer media brands that Bob Bakish just ticked off, and they're using a corporate name that has no consumer identity as the name of the company, ViacomCBS, in a world of Netflix, in a world of Disney? That would like be taking the Discovery Scripps merger that was recently done, where Discovery acquired HGTV and Food Network and calling the combined Scripps Discovery. In a world where everybody's talking about direct-to-consumer, how do you label this company with a corporate name that has no consumer significance? They lost me on that one.
You're raising a point. When Bernstein downgraded CBS last night, one of their big points was we don't believe their consumer offering will have broad consumer appeal. Is that what you're getting at?
Well, the first issue you got to look at is how big a hole did CBS take on in terms of the headwinds of the traditional television trends. You have this situation where Viacom was clearly the most vulnerable of the big media companies to what's going on in the traditional TV world. Nickelodeon, the kids networks, have lost about 2/3 of their audience over the last 6 years. Viacom is the only major media company that has negative growth rates among its affiliate fees that it gets from cable operators and satellite players. It's been holding up its ad revenue by stuffing more and more spots into its television channels, which is causing younger audiences to flee even more. MTV last quarter was down 20% year over year in ratings. Nickelodeon's been down 25% year over year for a long time. That's a lot of baggage to take on in the midst of what is already a very difficult situation for traditional television companies.
Yeah, Tom, we played the sound from Bakish on the way into this segment. He says, just to remind you, we clearly have scale. I know you've been thinking about that. Do they have enough?
Well, they certainly developed some scale here, but the issue from a CBS point of view is it scale for scale's sake, or is there meaningful scale here that's going to allow them to transform the company? Against all the potential for decline that I mentioned, the real issue is, does the combined cash flows of the company provide a way to invest in digital streaming that's going to create growth that exceeds what the new downdraft on the linear side is going to be? And, you know, there's a tough situation there. They're going to have to spend a lot of money just to keep Showtime competitive with all the other pay TV entertainment channels there. You have Disney with a bundle now at $13 with Disney Plus, ESPN Plus, and Hulu. You got Netflix out there at a similar price. The combined price of CBS All Access and Showtime is about $15, which is just not sustainable if you're going to compete as a major bundler of the kind of content that Bob mentioned. So they're going to have to bring that price way down to be competitive against the backdrop where CBS All Access and Showtime haven't actually been, you know, burning up the rubber on the digital side. They got about 8 million subs between them. And when you think of the fact that the real contribution Viacom makes is with younger audiences, and you have Netflix is #1 with kids right now, YouTube #2 with kids right now, Disney Plus about to enter with a huge push on kids. The question is, how much money are they going to have to invest against that kind of massive existing kids audience that is captured by others to really be a meaningful player that can move the dial for them in the streaming media world? And I think that's a very big question.
So, Tom, if the basis of their strategy here is scale, do they need to continue making additional acquisitions from here? And if so, what do you think those acquisitions should look like that could complement the current combined Viacom-CBS company?
Well, it's not so obvious to me that the players out there that are studio interest or other linear channel interest really deal with the linear decline issues that this combination is going to face. So the question is there something they can do among their assets today to drive revenues that they haven't? You know, you have Fox, new Fox, just having been created as a broadcast network that isn't going around saying we have to have more scale to compete with the NFL, to buy the NFL, to bid on the NFL. But clearly CBS is worried about being able to be a contender for those rights. I'd very much focus on how their sports package as a broadcaster could drive further revenues. Sports gaming revenues, bringing gaming to the television world, an area I'm involved in, is one that I think they could exploit a massive amount of underdeveloped revenue for the broadcast and cable industries. I'd recommend that they pursue organic strategies like that are lower cost than trying to think about another massive acquisition in the studio or linear channel space that doesn't have an obvious answer for their digital transformation.